Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Chase with Jace. I'm your host, as always, Jace Lejeune with Gridiron Football, and this is going to be fall practice report number 5. And we're getting to that point, guys, where we're starting to get a lot more competition. So we got to see a whole lot of that out there on the practice field in the Ponderosa today. And my favorite part, of course, I played football before, so I always love competition. And we get to see a lot of that out there on the football field today. 7-on-7s, 11-on-11. Usually, throughout the course of fall practice, we've been out there for the whole majority of practice. But today we got to see about 30 minutes, and it was a good 30 minutes to watch because we got to see the last portion of practice, and that was 7-on-7, 11-on-11s. And what I was able to see the last couple of years, it's been pretty one-sided by the offense. I mean, obviously going through those years with Jaden Daniels, and we know the story about how productive that offense has been, but the defense was lacking, for a better term. But you want to see both sides win battles, and we got to see a lot of that. There were some plays the offense won today. There were some plays the defense won today. Competition gets the best. Iron sharpens iron, right? That's what the saying goes, and you got to see a lot of that today. And there haven't been many times where I've seen the defense win, but I feel like the defense won today in 7-on-7, 11-11, because and that's encouraging because we know what the offense is like. We know how electrifying that offense can be. And for really the defense to step up and win a lot of those battles today was really encouraging. So if you want to read more about that, go to our website at gridironfootballusa.com if you want to read more about what transpired today. But I'm going to go over a couple of nuggets here that I feel like are pretty important to kind of go over. The number one thing is Harold Perkins. And we all knew what kind of player Harold Perkins was when he was a freshman, right? He just emerged on the scene, especially in that 3 game stretch, that Ole Miss, Alabama, Arkansas stretch where he really broke out. Obviously, the Arkansas games, what everybody thinks about with the four sacks and the 4 fumbles. He was the reason why LSU was able to defeat Arkansas. And at times, he was the best player in the SEC during that stretch. That's how dominant he really was. But when LSU was making the switch, obviously trying to put him as more of an inside linebacker. I mean, we've seen some production from him, but not at the high quality of level we've seen him dominate when he was a freshman off the edge. And it looks like he's doing that. He's playing in the star role in this defense this year, and he's going back, reverting back to see ball, get ball, be an athlete, be a dynamic athlete, and that's what Harold Perkins is, and he showcased that today. Now, during 7-on-7, we usually seen Garrett Nussmeier. He's been pretty dominant when they go on 7-on-7. He looked pretty good today, but he made one bad decision, and he threw an interception right to Harold Perkins. So Harold Perkins was able to celebrate. The defense was able to celebrate with an interception. And 11-on-11, he was flying all over the football field like the old Harold Perkins of old. I mean, he tracked down Howard Sharp when Garrett Nussmeier tried to pitch or I guess like that, do the shuffle pass, complete the shuffle pass to Bauer Sharp, and Harold Perkins was able to track that one down. But the defense really stood out today. There are a couple of players that really stood out. And Mansour Delane, I mean, he's been kind of playing everywhere. I mean, we've seen him at cornerback, we've seen him at safety, nickel, star, backing up Harold Perkins, and he's been a guy that's done a lot of really good things. And also another guy I want to mention, Bernard Gooden. He's been pretty much unblockable. He's wearing number 88, and he's been getting some first team reps. Remember, he's a transfer coming in from South Florida. We all talk about all the big names in the transfer portal class, but Bernard Gooden is somebody that we've kind of overlooked, but he's been really playing really well throughout the fall camp, and he's been making it tough on this offensive line for LSU. He's been in the backfield plenty of times today. He was able to tackle Caden Durham today in the backfield. I feel like the cornerbacks have really played well. I mean, you can see really the progression and how much they've really improved. Ever since I got here 4 years ago, I mean, the improvement has been really night and day. You're getting pretty deep at that cornerback position. PJ Woodland made a couple plays today. I made a PBU today. He looked really good today. He's been consistent. I mean, he's been consistent in fall practice. He's making a name for himself. DJ Pickett has made some of his plays. Ashton Stamp has made some plays at cornerback. So that they've looked really good. Safety wise, A.G. Halsey, he just keeps every day we've been out there. I feel like he's made like one big hit over the middle. He is a big dude playing safety. I mean, he is thick. I mean, he's bowled up too. So he's kind of like a linebacker out there playing safety, but he's big, he's physical, and he's going to come over the middle and hit you. There's no doubt about that. He's definitely somebody that's really caught my eye throughout the last couple of days. Really, the defense won majority of the time today, and that's saying a whole lot when you're going against this passing offense at LSU. And they really came out on the end of it with a lot of big plays. Like I said, Deshaun Spears had a PBU, Mantor Delane, Ashton Stamps, Jay Pickett, PJ Woodland. They've all looked really good today. And defensively in the defensive front, what they did starting out in 11-11, which I thought was pretty interesting. They had Gabriel Elliford at defensive end, Kalaj Cobbins at the other defensive end. I found that was pretty interesting with the depth on the defensive line. But Kalaj Cobbins has gotten a lot of first team reps at defensive end. Now Garrett Nussmeier was able to get him today on a hard count. I'm going to go and talk more about that play in just a second. But he was the other defensive end. I found that interesting. Jack Pyburn was in at defensive tackle. So we've seen Jack at defensive end. We've seen Jack at defensive tackle as well. So he's got the ability to play inside or outside. Bernard Gooden's been kind of rotating in with Jacoby and Guillory. So that's what kind of the first team defensive line looked out there today. Jordan Gilbert was out there at safety. Javian Toviano has really gone out there at safety. But there's been a lot of people rotating. I mean, we've seen Gilbert, we've seen Toviano, we've seen Deshaun Spears, we've seen A.J. Halsey. But they've been rotating those guys and see which guys have really stood out at the safety position. That's going to be interesting to monitor and follow. Mansour Delane, obviously, is another guy that's kind of been in that rotation as well. Speaking of rotation, the offensive line, I feel like LSU pretty much knows what they have. I think right now you still got some competition, but the tackles I feel like are pretty much set. I wouldn't have to say it, just yet, but the tackles look pretty solid. In Weston Davis at right tackle and Tyree Hill at left tackle. But guard, Brian Kelly actually met today with reporters, with the media today, and Brian Kelly said that the guard position, you got two spots. You got left guard and you got right guard, and there's about 4 different spots that are rotating for those 2 spots. Right now, Brian Kelly said that you have Josh Thompson, and he's the Northwestern transfer, and he's been getting a lot of looks at right guard. And you also have at left guard, you had DJ Chester. Remember, DJ Chester was the starting center last year for LSU. And now he's playing left guard. And you have a veteran, Paul Mubenga. He's been in that rotation too. And Cohen Eccles. So Cohen Eccles has been in that rotation. So right now, 4 guys are competing for 2 spots at guard. If I had to pretty much predict who that's going to be, I still think it's going to be DJ Chester, because Chester's also your backup center. So I think Chester's going to be your left guard, and I think Josh Thompson's going to be a right guard. But it's still got a long way to decide things out. Now, I mentioned the defense probably won majority of the reps today, and I feel like they've won today, which I think is really encouraging for Blake Baker's defense to do that. But don't get me wrong, they didn't shut out LSU's offense today either, which was also a very good sign. Actually, Nussmeier ended his session in 11-on-11 with 2 beautiful throws, man, and 2 great plays by the wide receivers. The first play, remember I talked about the hard count earlier with Kalaj Cobbins at defensive end. Well, he was able to get Cobbins to jump off sides and get the free play. And Nussmeier was able to attack, and he was able to throw a beautiful back shoulder to Trey'Dez Green. Now, there's been some people, and I think I agree with some of the people on this, but there was that play on the back shoulder, Trey'Dez Green, he did catch it, and it was pretty good coverage by Jordan Gilbert, but Trey Green made the catch. I mean, it's just so tough to cover a guy that's 6'7", 240 pounds, and runs like a gazelle. But I think he got 1 foot out of bounds. It's kind of tough. It looked like his heel touched out of bounds, but anyway, he made a great catch. And then the other one, and a lot of people are really excited about this combination this year, and that's Chris Hilton. And Chris Hilton was able to beat DJ Pickett off the line and get pretty much provide pretty good separation from DJ Pickett off the line of scrimmage, and Nussmeier just dropped it in like a bucket over the shoulder catch from about 25, 30 yards. So Nussmeier had a pretty good day. He did throw the interception today. They were in 7-on-7, but hey, it's good competition. Harold Perkins got an interception today. So that was the big thing. I think it was a great overall day. Just you want to see competition. You want to see battles being won. You don't want to see it one side like we saw with Jaden Daniels and those wide receivers 2 years ago. But it is encouraging that the defense is winning. Is getting some good pass rush the last couple of days. I thought the offensive line though did a better job today in protecting Garrett Nussmeier, and that is what you want to see. You want to see him take steps, especially against a really talented defensive line. So I thought this was one of the best days for the offensive line today. Caden Durham broke off for a couple of big runs today. He's looked really good, man. Caden Durham could be in for a big time year. And if he does have a big time year, that's certainly going to make things easier for this LSU offense because as good as Garrett Nussmeier and these wide receivers are, you got to be balanced. You got to be able to show that you can run the football. You go back to Joe Burrow, they were able to run the football with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Joe Burrow was able to run every now and then too. Jaden Daniels. I mean, Jaden Daniels ran. He was a running game. You know, he can tuck down and run and get you 15, 20 yards. But you need a running game to really balance the passing game, and that was kind of the problem last year. I think they were too pass heavy last year, and it put a lot of pressure on Garrett Nussmeier to make a lot of those plays. And, you know, the type of gunslinger he is, it's going to result in a couple of mistakes, and that's what happened last year. But for Caden Durham to look this healthy, this good, I mean, he broke off, I think, a 53-yard run and a 40-yard run. Like, he's looked really good today and throughout fall camp, so that's really good. It's going to be interesting to see how they kind of work in that backup running back. It looks like Caleb Jackson. I would say Caleb Jackson is going to be the guy, especially your short yardage. He's about at 230 pounds. So, I mean, I know they probably want them to lose a couple more pounds, but we'll see how that goes. But the most interesting thing about the running back room was I actually asked Brian Kelly about this today, and you can go back and watch the press conference. I asked him about Juwan Johnson because we've seen Juwan Johnson in individual periods as the quarterback for LSU. Then we go back into like group, and you see him at running back. And then he lined up outside wide receiver. And I asked Brian Kelly about it and what kind of role does he have in this offense and what you expect from him. And Brian Kelly just flat out said that we pretty much asked everything out of Juwan Johnson, and he hasn't been selfish. He's done everything exactly what you need to do for the football team, and that's what Juwan Johnson has done. He's been a great teammate, and he's done everything, whether it's been playing nickel and star last year, whether it's moving back to quarterback, whether it's playing running back, receiver. Another thing that Brian Kelly mentioned about Juwan Johnson is he may redshirt him, and it kind of depends on the number of games. Does he play 4 games? Does he play 5 games? Because Juwan Johnson is one of those guys that LSU sees as a big impact player in the future. I think there's just so many weapons on LSU's offense right now that it makes it difficult for him to be on the football field a lot this year because you got, like Brian Kelly mentioned a week ago, about the quality and the quantity of great wide receiver talent. You have Caden Durham, you have the two really good tight ends. There's just so many weapons. Where does Juwan Johnson fit? And it's going to be interesting to see if they do redshirt him this year, and that is he can still play 4 games. And that's another thing. What 4 games does Juwan Johnson play? Does he play big time minutes and get some reps against like the Clemsons, the Alabamas, the Texas A&Ms of the world, or does he play against Louisiana Tech, Southeastern, and some of those other teams? That's going to be interesting to follow to see where do they put Juwan Johnson and for how many games and what games they do play him. So that's going to be an interesting story to follow as we go along. Brian Kelly did also mention because the biggest question was Aaron Anderson, because remember, Aaron Anderson missed the last couple of practices, and it has to be. And Brian Kelly said it has to deal with some inflammation in his left knee. We saw Aaron Anderson the other day in practice wear a sleeve on his leg, and it's just kind of helped the inflammation a little bit. But Brian Kelly does expect Aaron Anderson to come back Wednesday, so it looks like we'll get to see Aaron Anderson back in his offense on Wednesday. So it's one of those things, right? You gotta be, even though you're pretty deep at that position group and you got a lot of weapons there, wide receiver. If you give those guys more reps, right? Because all those guys need reps with Garrett Nussmeier over the course of the season, and that chemistry's been already been down pat with Nussmeier and Aaron Anderson. So make sure he's 100% healthy. I don't need him running routes during practice. I need him to get ready for Clemson. So you can return back, make sure he is not as rusty, but make sure to also continue to monitor the injury. And if it comes back to where there's some inflammation again, send him out. So I mean, I think LSU knows what they're doing with that, and so far they've been pretty healthy. But LSU is going to start tackling now. I think Brian Kelly said that tomorrow's practice will be the first day of tackling for this LSU football team. So that will be intriguing to see. But that's been kind of some of the updates from today's practice, from what we're able to gather. But there's going to be a lot of things to monitor as we go forward. Uh, Defense. I mean, also I'm going to talk a little bit about before we end the show here. Really the backup quarterback situation, because remember how that transpired last year, right? LSU just didn't have a lot of confidence in either guy, and I think that took away a lot of Nussmeier being able to run. And I still believe that was a big part of it, because if there's a big gap between Garrett Nussmeier and whoever the backup quarterback was last year, that probably took away. They were afraid of him getting hurt running the football. I think that played a role into it. This year, you got to build that quarterback depth. And right now, they brought Michael Van Buren, an experienced guy. He started last year, started a whole lot, majority of the season for Mississippi State, had some good moments, especially against Georgia last year. But he struggled a little bit, just to be honest with you. He's struggled a little bit in fall camp, and he's missed a lot of throws. He's especially the deep throws he's missed, and he's been inconsistent. And be honest with you, Colin Hurley, if you're just telling me through now, it's still early in fall camp. He's still got a couple weeks, but right now, I mean, Colin Hurley has outperformed Michael Van Buren. So that is going to be also interesting thing to follow over the next couple weeks, because you definitely need to solidify that backup quarterback role, especially with Garrett Nussmeier, because LSU is going to ask a whole lot of Garrett Nussmeier this year. I mean, understandably so. He's one of the top quarterbacks in college football. He's one of the favorites for the Heisman Trophy entering the season. So you're going to need your other guys to get ready, because you never know when something happens or may happen to Garrett Nussmeier. Definitely, hopefully that's not the case, but you got to be prepared. So we're going to keep following that as we move forward. I thought the offensive line, I know that's been kind of a concern through fall camp. I feel like they've had a better day today as well. So that was really encouraging. It's going to be, I mean, I'm still pretty excited to see how this group grows and continues to improve. But this is a group that has played before, even though we've been used to seeing the four guys over the last couple of years. And, I'm talking about Will Campbell, Emory Jones, Miles Frazier, Garrett Dellinger, all those guys. But these guys have played before, and it was against Baylor. And that pretty much the best reps you can have or game reps. And they've done it before against Baylor in the bowl game. But this is a really good defensive line. They're playing playing against every day in practice. So to see how this group continues to improve, I thought they made a big step today in terms of their pass blocking. And we'll see how this group continues to improve, because if LSU's offense wants to be there, we all know about their skill position guys, but the offensive line, that has to continue to gel. All right, guys. So it looks like that's going to be me for my LSU practice report today. Just long story short, great day for the LSU defense. Harold Perkins is starting to look like the Harold Perkins of old, and that was really the main takeaway from today. And then another thing I would take away is the defense has made their surefire plays. I feel like the defense is improving, especially what we've seen the last couple of years in fall camp. And offensively, the offense is still as dangerous as ever. So this is as good as I know. I've always been a positive guy, and I've always been like a half glass full type of person. But this LSU team, this is as much excited as I've ever been about an LSU team since covering them, since Brian Kelly joined, took over as the head coach. So a lot of positive things to really like about this LSU football team, based on not only today but through fall camp so far. We'll see if we continue to see that. Well, guys, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, and also please follow us on our social media channels. Make sure to go to our website if you want to read more. Well, I'll have a link to our full practice report today. No highlights today, as today we were not able to put any cameras in today, so no footage from today's practice. So we'll find out if we get some footage for y'all guys tomorrow from practice. So, guys, thank y'all for watching. If there's any position group, any player, anything, any game, please comment below. If there's a player that you want me to watch more of and kind of give an insight more, if there's any questions you have about how the LSU football team has been performing to this point, feel free to comment below. I'll definitely like to answer any questions that y'all guys may have for me. And looking for, and yeah, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube, feel free to comment below. I'll try to answer as many questions as possible. But thank y'all guys for watching. Thank you for your support. And looking forward to another LSU fall practice report right here on the Chase with Jace. Thank y'all guys for watching.